What is your next piece of content going to be? Well, if you're like most creators, you are constantly asking yourself that very question. But what's next? What's the next episode, the next YouTube video, the next newsletter, reel, course, whatever it is? But I think you're probably asking the wrong question. A better question is, what have I already created that I'm not fully using? Because your next revenue stream may not be hiding in your next piece of content. It may already exist. It's sitting in your archives, your back catalog, your email list, your intellectual property, your relationships. In other words, your next revenue stream may already exist, and you just haven't recognized it yet. So today, I want to help you change the way you think about your content forever. Hello again. I'm Gordon Firemark, the podcast lawyer, and here on Legit Podcast Pro, we help podcasters and creator business owners build businesses that are profitable, professional, and protected. If that's what you're working toward, please be sure to subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. But now let's dive right in to the content treadmill question. It's a pattern I see all the time. Someone's published 100, 200, 300 podcast episodes or YouTube videos or 5 years worth of newsletters. And then every Monday morning, they feel like they're starting from zero again. Why? Because they've accidentally built themselves a job. If they stop publishing, their business stops growing. If they take a vacation, everything slows down. If life gets in the way, revenue dries up, and it's exhausting. Honestly, it's not much of a business at all. It's a production schedule. Now, don't misunderstand me. Creating consistently does matter. But if every dollar coming in depends entirely on the next thing that you publish, well, you have built yourself a treadmill, not an asset. So here's the mindset shift I want you to make. Creators produce content. Creator CEOs build assets. And those are two very different businesses. Every podcast episode, every interview or tutorial or newsletter, every framework you've developed, every client success story, presentation, trademark, contract, every email subscriber or relationship, those are all assets. And businesses become valuable because they accumulate assets, not because they stay busy making stuff. So instead of asking, how much money did this episode make? Start asking, what is the asset that this episode creates or contributes to? That is a completely different lens to watch through. So let's take inventory. First off, there's copyright, intellectual property, your episodes, your videos, your blog posts, your graphics, presentations, course materials, worksheets, books. But there's more. You have your unique frameworks that you use, the terminology, the ways you refer to things, your branded programs, your logos, your trademarks. These all have real value. And then there are your audience assets like your email list, your members, your customers, your community, your reputation, your goodwill. These aren't just marketing metrics. They are business assets you can take to the bank. Other business assets you might have, operating procedures, your templates, your contracts, your systems, your vendor relationships, affiliate relationships, your sponsor relationships, and of course, your production workflows. Everything you've built to make your business function has value, or at least can have value. And lots of creators sort of completely overlook that. But someone who's coming to acquire you or your business or invest isn't going to overlook it. So here's where most people get stuck and get things backwards. They think, oh, well, I need another revenue stream. And that may be true, but maybe what you really need is another use for the assets you already own, ways to repurpose and remarket them. So let's imagine that you've produced this outstanding podcast episode. Ask yourself, what can it become? Could it be a YouTube video, several shorts, Instagram clips, a LinkedIn article, a newsletter, a blog post, a downloadable checklist, a chapter of your next book? Maybe it's part of a workshop or a paid course or a conference presentation or material for your coaching program. It could be an internal training program for a business that needs the information you're sharing. Or maybe it's even content you can license out. That is one piece of content creating value over and over and over again. the asset keeps working. Now, it sounds like repurposing, and it's very similar, but when you leverage the things you already have and look for ways for them to be monetized, for them to drive more business your way long after you hit publish, that's really putting your assets to work. So now here's where I have to put on my lawyer hat. None of this is going to work if you don't actually own the assets that you think you own. Think about this. Did that contractor assign the copyright to you when they finished the work that they were doing, maybe designing stuff or writing up um, who knows what, a report or something? What about the editor who edits your show? What about your graphic designer, your producer? Do they all have work made for hire contracts? And do you have guest releases with all your guests that allow you to legally reuse those interviews as you see fit? Have you taken steps to protect your brand with a trademark registration, for example? And have you inadvertently given away rights in that sponsorship agreement? Can your content be licensed? And more importantly, can it be licensed by you? Can you authorize someone else to adapt it? Do you have those rights, or have you accidentally signed those rights away? This is why the legal stuff isn't separate from the business. It determines what you own. And you can only monetize assets that you actually control. But there's a bigger picture here. One day you might decide to sell your creator business, or bring on investors, or license the brand, or hire a CEO, or simply find ways to work less and earn more. And when that day comes, no one is buying your upload schedule. They're buying your assets. Specifically, what they're buying is your audience and your intellectual property, anything that's possible to use going forward. That old back catalog of episodes is nice, but it's probably not all that valuable unless you've been already doing this repurposing and remonetizing. Your brand, your contracts, your systems, your goodwill, your library, your reputation. These are the things that you can really leverage. And that content was never the end product. The business behind it is what you're really looking at. So here is my challenge for you. The next time you publish something, don't ask how many views is this going to get or how many downloads. Ask, what is the asset I just created? That's the question creator CEOs ask. It's the question investors ask. It's the question business buyers ask. So every piece of content should become an asset before it becomes an archive. That is how you build something that really grows in value. It's how you create new revenue streams, and that's how you build a creator business that's worth more than the next upload. All right, thanks for spending this time with me. And if this episode got you thinking differently about your business, I would love to hear from you. Leave a comment and let me know what's the most valuable asset you've already created that you haven't fully capitalized on yet. And hey, if you'd like to learn how to identify the assets in your own creator business and make sure they're properly protected, I'm developing a new resource called the Creator Business Protection Blueprint. It's a practical framework to help creator business owners identify what it is they've got, what's protected, what's vulnerable, and what deserves their attention next. It is still in development, but you can join the early access list now by visiting gordonfiremark.com/blueprint. That's it for me. I'm Gordon Firemark, the podcast lawyer. And until next time, don't just publish. Capitalize on everything you've got.